Nope.
How about now?
Nope.
How about oh? It's Mike. This is the very supreme broadcast of honor podcast, Drivecast, dude. I'm riding down the road. I'm recording this shit. Listen to me now. I've got a show. I make it up as I go along, cause you know it is the best place to be to get your games, reality, and news. And my views, everything I'm saying right now is made up, just like the show. If you don't like it, shut up and just go. There's lots of people that like when I talk about things and stuff and such. That's the way I get shit done in this life. You should try it once. Maybe you'll get a whole pile of friends. Hello and welcome back to the very supreme broadcast of honor podcast, Drivecast. My name is Mike, and I am here today to talk to you about stuff and things. This podcast is, just one of many avenues that the very supreme broadcast of honor goes down. I guess you go down an avenue. I'm not sure. To entertain you. And I'm Mike. I'm one half of the very supreme broadcast of honor. The other half is Higgins. The reason why it's just me in this podcast is because I record this when I'm driving home from work. And I have about an hour and a half drive each day, so it gives me something to do. And, you know, I felt it was wasted time. I've been listening to podcasts, I listen to music. I've done many things while driving, but never a podcast. So I thought it was a good idea. This is episode 3. It's funny because if you're listening to this, obviously I released these somewhere and promoted them. But at this point, I still haven't released the previous 2 episodes anywhere. They're just sitting on my phone. So this may never come into existence, or it may. The nature of the Drivecast is that you will hear driving sounds. You'll hear my car. It's wintertime, so you may hear my heater going. So bear with me. It's a different sort of podcast. Some people find that really annoying, I'm sure, and won't listen to it just because you have to listen to shitty microphone quality and shitty car sounds. And my car is very shitty. We're driving along in a Nissan from 2001, so it's 2014, so 13-year-old car. Good times, great fun. So this podcast, I really just come up with an idea before I hit record. I do operate my mobile phone while I'm pulled over. I do not operate it while I'm driving, so everything's safe. And as I was saying, I come up with the topic just before I hit record. So I thought today I would talk about game prices and different sort of pay models that games are using these days, and my thoughts about those. For those of you who are familiar with the very supreme broadcast of honor, there's not a lot of comedy, in this podcast, because it's just me ranting about games while I'm driving. So if you come here expecting the usual hilarity of the very supreme broadcast of honor, you may not find it at the odd time, maybe. But I'm more just talking about games and their future, and gaming, and YouTube, and Twitch, and the very supreme broadcast of honor. I hope to branch off into other topics, and we'll see where that goes. But anyway, without further ado, let's talk about this. Game prices. I have an admission to make, and, feel free to also make your admissions if you'd like. You can send us an email or Twitter or Facebook comment, YouTube comment, what have you, or you can, go ahead and put the comments below wherever this video is posted. I just had a thought. Maybe I'll post these to YouTube. Duh. Anyway, leave a comment with your admissions about this. But what I want to admit is that when I was growing up, I played games my whole life, and that's not the admission part. The admission part is that I have pirated games before. Yep. Gonna say it. I won't get specific, but it's happened. It's happened to me where I was a student, or I didn't have very much money for whatever reason. I was between jobs or whatnot. And my main form of entertainment is games, and the game I wanted to play was $70 Canadian. And I just didn't have that in my budget. And, it's hard because games used to be cheaper. They also used to be not as great. The prices are going up and up. For good reason. The games of today are mind-blowing, and people work so hard on those games. You really have to think about that when you think about people pirating games. Like, yes, the price may be $60 for a game or $70 for a game, but if you think about a game like, I'm just going to say, for example, Skyrim, which I probably will bring up a lot since I'm currently playing it on the stream, and it's one of my favorite games of all time. That game is so huge. Like, forget the DLCs. The game itself is massive, and the amount of hours it took them to make that game, I mean, the voice acting alone is ridiculous. Like, there's so many hours of the same person just talking. The same character, I mean. Like, they have so much to say, each NPC. And then, you've got one guy doing maybe 5 voices or 2 voices or whatever in some cases, or one woman doing a bunch of voices, or, whatever they're going to do. And that equals a lot of hours. Then, honestly, everyone that I've talked to loves the music of Skyrim. The orchestral music is absolutely intense. It's brilliant, amazing. Some pieces of music are very short. Others are extremely long. It's like they put so much time and effort into that stuff. And all that costs so much money. Think about how much money it would cost to pay those voice actors, how much money it would cost to pay that symphony. The composer had to write specific pieces, all the time and money. Anyway, what I'm getting at is $70 per player seems like nothing compared to what you're getting, in a way, right? But the market has a threshold. And we'll kind of talk about that more a little bit later too, I think. When we get more into that. But anyway, we'll go back to me, and so I'll admit that I had in previous years, I absolutely do not pirate games anymore, and it feels really weird, honestly. I pirated games for a while, and, there was always a modicum of guilt, but there was also the fact that I couldn't afford the games that I wanted to play. And that's not the developer's fault. That's nobody's fault. That's the market. This is how much it costs. Again, think about all the time and effort and energy and money that they put into making these amazing experiences for us. Like, it's not a movie. Like, Skyrim isn't an hour-and-a-half movie. It's not a 3-hour movie. This is a game that I've personally put in over 600 hours into. I think that's about right. That's ridiculous, okay? That's a lot of time. It's a lot of time. It's kind of depressing. But at the same time, 600 versus 3 hours, holy shit, right? Now, it's not a movie where you have to do all this live, and it's, movies are obviously way more expensive. Sometimes they are. Some games are really expensive. Anyway, you're going to find me rambling a lot in this because, again, as I mentioned before, I do not do any research beforehand. I don't write out a script or my thoughts or ideas. This is all ad-lib, so bear with me if I get off track, if I kind of use a lot and, which in a professional podcast maybe you wouldn't hear. I'm trying to drive, obviously, and paying attention to that, plus coming up with what to say. Anyway. So yeah, well, once I stopped pirating games, I felt amazing. You feel like you have a sense of ownership to the games. Like, when you're pirating games, you could just collect every single game and just have them, and you just kind of play them, and you throw them away, you delete them after. It's just kind of, who gives a shit? There's a sense of ownership when you buy it, and in today's market, there's technically no excuse for pirating because of things like, again, like, prices are what they are because of what goes into the games. Sometimes they're too pricey, but also things like Humble Bundle, like, it's really taken off. And Steam sales and Origin sales. They used to do that stuff like once a year, like twice a year. Now they're doing them like once a month. It's just, they make so much money off those sales that why not, right? And I applaud them for doing that. Steam and Origin and Firefly. No, that's not it. I can't remember the name of the other delivery service, but you know what I mean. They're having these huge sales now all the time. Like Humble Bundle, you can get some of the best games, like AAA titles for like $5, $10, $15. You get like 3 AAA titles for nothing, or like 1 AAA title with 2 DLCs for, you know, fucking nothing. $15. So it's pretty shameful to be pirating in this day and age. Now, what I really wanted to talk about, though, was the pricing models of games and, you know, and the pricing that they do choose, but mostly the pricing models. So, something I wanted to bring up right away is Dota 2. Okay, Dota 2, shit, I can't remember how much it is. See, I don't do research ahead of time. Fuck, I don't know. But here's what Dota 2 did. They just gave away beta keys for like ever, and everyone, their dog had the beta version of Dota, and if you had the beta version, you didn't have to pay for the game when it went full. And like people were just giving out keys. You got keys to gift to other people. Brilliant. Now, I'm really sorry. Again, this is not a research-based podcast, so I don't have like real-time facts for you. But the best I can come up with is Dota right now, and its full release is either $10 or $30. That's what comes up in my brain. I want to lean toward $10, but it might be $30. Regardless, I really want to say it's $10, but it might be $30. Anyway, it is. I'm currently addicted to that game. I know I'm playing Skyrim on the stream. I'm gonna pass somebody now. Oh yeah. Got my piece of shit car passing your ass. Yes, that's right, passing you live on a podcast. When has that ever happened before to you? Never. Or when has that ever happened in a podcast before? I don't know if anyone's ever passed someone in a podcast. This is history right here, guys. History. Yes. So, Dota, I'm super addicted to Dota. They just came out with a random ability draft. Fuck. I will never... Like, they had me hooked already. Then they came out with this random ability draft, and now it went from like crack to meth or something. I don't know what the drug comparison is, but I'm super addicted now. I've almost been late for work twice in 1 week because in the morning time I wake up, I grab my breakfast and I like hit search. Like I got to get into that game in the morning, and games last about an hour, and I want to play it, and then so if you're playing, especially the random ability draft, if someone gets screwed, if they don't get good abilities and it just doesn't work with the random character they were assigned, and their team's going to lose because of it, or they're just not having a good time, they'll just rage quit, and then after 5 minutes, then everyone else just starts leaving, so it ruins the whole game. So I find that usually happens about half an hour into the game, and so I have an hour in the morning to play, and a game, like I say, a game lasts about an hour. So if half an hour's already been taken up, and my game gets ruined, I don't get to see it through to completion. I start getting like a cold sweat. I'm like, oh my god, and I hit search, and I start playing another game, even though I know I don't have the time. A quick game of Dota will go like the most hyper quick. Your team just owns the other team game. Even if a couple people leave or whatever, and you just complete the game. I've seen it 20 minutes. 22 minutes is probably the fastest I've seen. I would say the average game's about 45 minutes, 40 to 45 minutes. If you're lucky, you get half an hour. The major game I've seen has gone over an hour, like an hour and 7 minutes. Anyway, so yeah, I started playing another game, and I think both times I had to abandon it because I'm like, I just can't play anymore. So I still never get to see the game go to completion, and it's a real piss off. Anyway, maybe I'll cover game addiction in another podcast. I think I should if I can remember. I do have some real life experience with addiction. Not so much my own addiction. I guess I am addicted to video games, and we could talk about that, but I do social service work for a living, and I have some education in it, I guess, more than experience. Anyway, off on a tangent there. Dota. So Dota did that. So I've never paid for Dota, but it's the game I play the most right now. And it is, I'm like blown away that I've never put $1 into that game. And it continues to be my favorite game to play right now. Like, don't get me wrong, I play Skyrim, but there's guilt playing offline when you're a streamer, and that could be another podcast. Or at least a mini topic to cover. So I don't play Skyrim offline. I just play it when I'm streaming. And it is my favorite game. But Dota offline, I just play it offline all the time. Anyway, I've never put $1 in, and here's what they do. So you either pay your $10 or $30. I still want to say it's 10. I hope it's 10. That would make more sense to my argument or my points here. But excuse me. It's getting that nighttime asthma going here. I need some water too. When you're doing a podcast, you have to drink a lot of water. So here's what Dota does. So you pay your $10. I'm just going to stick with $10. Pay your $10, you get the game, and then boom, you're playing Dota, and it's really fun. You don't have to put any more money in ever again if you don't want to. If you want to pay more money, you can. Well, why would you want to? But here's why. They have like in-game items, okay? So character customization. You're going to get outfits for the different Dota characters. You're going to get different looking weapons. You're going to get different looking like animations, different looking HUDs, like the way the screen looks when you're playing, different couriers. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out a tutorial video on YouTube on Dota or something like that, or an introduction to Dota. I might do that because when Higgins and I were streaming it, like I was teaching Higgins to play live, and it's really confusing. I've been playing for a while now, and I just recently learned like how to do some stuff properly with item buying as you're playing, and like using the courier while you're playing. So there's always more to learn about the game, and it's the steepest learning curve you've ever seen. And it's taken me a long time to finally catch up to a level where I feel like I'm performing efficiently. And it really is a performance game, and if you just watch a tutorial on it or an introduction to it or what is Dota kind of thing, you'll understand. But anyway, all these different customizations for the game, it does not give you a tactical advantage at all. These upgrades, in my opinion, I think you may be able to combine, like you can buy special things that allow you to combine unwanted items and make them into a new item, or you can so you can do that. You have to understand about Dota, when you're done the game, if you stay in the game to completion, even if you lose, randomly people get items. So you're rewarded just for, like, they do everything right to make you addicted to this game. There's achievements, there's items at the end of the game that randomly get assigned, so you don't know whether or not you're going to get an item. And the item quality is random. As you play the game more and more, you go up in levels. And as you go up in levels, you like the loot that you get at the end of the game increases. Like your chance of getting like really rare loot increases. Actually, the really, really rare loot is locked until you reach a certain level. Then you unlock another level of loot that you might get randomly at the end of the game. Anyway, more confusing shit. But they reward you constantly. There's constant rewards. There's like so many things. So some of the rewards that you get, though, are chests, and they're locked. Now, a lot of games have been doing this for, I'd say, about the last 7 years or so. I've been playing games for a long time, so I'm kind of up on this stuff. I remember there's other games that use this similar model. Damn it, I can't remember the name of it, but it was Guns. No, not Guns. Maybe it was called War. I don't know. There was this multiplayer first-person shooter game that was full of hackers, so I ended up quitting, but I played it for the longest time, and it was really fun, and it was a game, like, it was its own little thing. Shit, I can't, maybe someone will mention it in the comments. There was, like, tons of guns, and tons of hackers. They couldn't seem to get the hackers out, and that's why I ended up stopped playing it. It's probably about 5 years ago it was popular. I don't know. War of Guns or Guns War something. I don't know. Anyway, it was great. But I think they had this model where there was like gun rewards randomly at the end of games. I think a lot of rewards. Anyway, it's a good model to keep you addicted, and that's important in these games. It really is to keep people interested. So with Dota, you get all these random things at the end of the game, and one of the things is chests. They give you like locked chests or locked items of some sort. So to further the intrigue of the locked chests, you know, it can be a rare locked chest or a common or uncommon, whatever. And so you get this chest, and you're like, well, for me personally, and I'll state this now, it's a point I wanted to make. I don't pay into games after I've paid for them. I'm against it. For myself, I don't want to pay more than what I've paid at the upfront price. I just want to play the game now. You know, I paid you the money that you requested. I enjoy the game. Thank you. You know, I understand why they do it, because obviously it's a business. They want to continue to make money off their game. Like the Warcraft was really a good model for that. But I just don't want to invest more money after I've already paid for it. I just find it cheesy or whatever. And Dota makes it possible you can still win, when you're rewarded with randomly like clothing and weapons and all that stuff you can buy. But you just get random pieces of sets or just like random stuff. So you don't feel like, well, all these people are buying it, they only get the cool shit. No, everyone gets cool shit randomly. But if you do buy it, you can buy a whole set at a time or specific pieces you want. Anyway, so you get these chests that are locked, and if you want to unlock them, you have to buy the key. And again, that game, I'm remembering again that game with the guns. God damn it, I wish I could remember it. War, guns, war. That's what just keeps coming in my head, the word war and guns, but there's like a bunch of different levels. It was 2 teams, usually really small maps, lots of sniping usually. I don't know, it was a fun game. Until the hackers just continued to ruin it for ages. I think someone even hacked my account one time. Their security was shit. Anyway, but I remember they had that where you would get this stuff given to you, but you had to buy keys to unlock those things, and some of them were only a limited time, which was another level of addiction or urgency to purchasing. I think I did put money into that game one time. I did. I know I did. It was so enticing to get like a better scope or a gun or whatever. I don't know why I fell into it then. I just don't do it now. Anyway, another thing with that game, there were clans, and you could buy like a clan. You had to buy the clan, the ability to create a clan, and then you had to buy a clan emblem and clan this and clan that. I don't know. Anyway. I remember they did it. So Dota has these chests. Now, to further entice you to open the chest, you can peek inside the chest, and it'll say, this chest has a possibility of having these things. It'll be one of these things plus one of these, or definitely one of these and this or this. Like, it gives you, it really breaks it down. So you're like, oh shit, I want that. You know, I need that to complete a set of cool-looking armor or whatever for your character. I don't really care too much about that stuff, especially because they do give it to you for free. It's enjoyable. Oh, what did I just do? This is one of the perils of driving while you're recording. I wasn't really paying attention. I kind of have busy hands, and I was playing with a cup holder. It's kind of in the back seat between the where the armrest, like the console is between the 2 front seats. On the back of it, there's like a cup holder that springs out, and I was just kind of opening and closing it, and somehow I managed to pull off one of the 2 rings. Fuck me, I'll just put it in the back seat. Anyway, I am driving safely with one hand there, but anyway, good stuff. So, I guess I don't need my sunglasses on. The sun is going down now. I don't need these visors. Oh, driving, you're the best. commuting isn't too bad at first, but it's been like 6 or 7 months now since I got my job, and it's starting to wear on me. This is about the time when I start getting really agitated by driving to work for an hour and a half each way. Like I also have this bad pinch under my right shoulder blade that goes up to my neck, and I've had it for years now, and it gets aggravated every now and then. And I find after commuting for a while, it gets aggravated and it won't go away ever. So that's what's happened. It started again, and so it really makes me hate commuting. Anyway, I have another year and like 6 months left in my contract, so unless something miraculous happens with streaming and YouTubing in the next year and a half, which I doubt, I will just have to put up with that fucking pinch. Anyway, getting off track a couple times there, with a couple items. So Dota has those chests. I'm really impressed with myself for getting back on track. Normally in conversations, if I get off track, I can't remember what I was talking about. So Dota has these chests, and you can unlock them by purchasing keys. And, they're like $1.99 US, maybe? So $2. And then that unlocks it, and you get those items. For me, that's not worth it, but for some people who really like the customization or want, they can't stand it anymore. They really have to do the streaming. The streaming. Wow, why? I got streaming on the mind now. We really want to do the customization of the HUD and all that other stuff. That's available to them. Got to turn up the heat here. It's getting colder. It's weird. I work and live in two different weather pattern areas, so it's actually colder sometimes when I'm on my way home than it was when it started out. I just turned the heat up there. So anyway, Dota has these chests. Dota has all this stuff. And they collect money secondarily through those things. Now, the good thing for game companies, is in that model is that you're not requiring anyone to pay money past the initial point of purchase. And for me, that's key. Like, I'm paying you $10, $30, $60, $70, $80, whatever for this game. I just don't want to pay any more money. And if you're going to force me to, I'm going to play your game for a little bit until you force me to pay more, and then I'm done. I'm out. I'm going to find something that's free, or I'll pay money for something that doesn't make me pay constantly for things. Or I don't want to play a game that gives people an unfair advantage if they pay. That's fucking ridiculous. What the hell? Why would I want to play a game where it's my choice, I've paid you the money to play, whatever you asked, I paid it, and then you're gonna let other people win every game or have really unfair advantages in game because they paid you money? And I think it's a bunch of shit. And there's some games that are doing that, and it's really annoying and stupid, in my opinion. It's not fair. It's a waste. And if people still do it, people still play, whatever, and those companies must be making their money. But I don't know, man. And I want to talk about subscription models in a second. But, so Dota does a great job, in my opinion. I think it's a good balance between getting money. And what I was going to say was that it's good for companies to do that in a way because it supports the servers. You got to think about that. They're paying a shitload of money to keep those servers running that host the games. Like, in 20 years, are you going to be able to log into Dota 2? Probably not. That's maybe a little bit extreme. Maybe. But right now, I think I can still log into StarCraft 1 servers. I think they're probably still jammed in with bots and only like 100 people play, but I think Battle.net still operates the Star, what did I just say? Oh my god. I'm having a brain moment here. I just said it. StarCraft. I was like, Star Wars? Star Trek? Star what? StarCraft. Big bump in the road there. StarCraft 1. I can still load that up and play it online with other people. And I'm not saying it's because StarCraft had a subscription model. They didn't. That was pre that kind of shit. But they still have their servers going because they can afford to keep them going. To me, that's amazing. How many fucking years is it later after StarCraft? How many years? It's 2014. Is it 20 years yet? I'd say it's getting there. So, it allows nowadays, with the costs what they are for everybody, not just consumers, but for businesses, in order to make the money back they've put into the game, plus continue to operate the game, not just the servers, but to update the game. Dota 2 is constantly fucking updated. Now, anyone who knows about Dota, who plays Dota regularly or follows gaming news, knows that Dota's had a lot of problems with events. They seem like they do huge tournaments, they do some other things. I got into it a little bit later, so I don't really understand. They did like yearly events, and then something kept happening this year, or last year really, 2013, where events that were normally happening, they didn't get them done in time, or they didn't get them programmed properly, or they wouldn't run, or something, some problem like that. Excuse me. Oh look, a blizzard. Nice. Like I said, different weather systems. When I left work, blue skies, completely sunny. Right now, complete whiteout, gray skies. I can't barely see where I'm driving. It's fucking crazy. That's Canada. Anyway, so yeah, Dota, and see there, I did lose my train of thought and I can't remember. Oh yes, updating the game. I did remember it. Go Brain! Yeah! Yeah! Brain Man! Brain Man. Not Rain Man, but Brain Man. Oh, screw you, Asthma. I hate you. In the face, I hate you. So, yeah, Dota 2 really, they did, despite whatever problems they've been, oh God, it's getting more intense, snow. Don't snow now. I want you to snow during a work day so I can work from home. Now it's Friday night right now, and I'm on my way home from work. It's my fucking weekend. It's late stream tonight. Don't you delay me. Don't you delay. Well, it won't delay me because late stream's not. It's like 5:30. Late stream's not for another. Yes, I have to count hour by hour. 6 hours. 6 hours from now. Anyway. Dota. So Dota updates constantly, despite whatever problems they've been having. Dota really, they're spending that money. They're putting the money they've made back into the game, and that keeps the game interesting and entertaining, and it keeps people who do buy stuff buying more stuff. Why not? Why not make it its own economy? The way that they've done it. Perfect. Really fun and acceptable in my opinion. If you want to pay for like cooler looking stuff, you want to look epic, sound epic in the game, whatever, have a cool looking experience, I think you can buy these packs that allow you to gain more experience. Now, I'm not sure if you can buy ones that only apply to you. You might be able to, but what I do know is you can buy experience boosts, and I think it applies to everyone either on your team or everyone in the game. And that's really cool. Most games you come into right now, you're getting 15% experience boost every game because someone has bought those, or they were given, like around Christmas time, they gave away a whole bunch of stuff. Actually, I think it was Chinese New Year's. That's where the random ability draft mode came in. I hope they keep that forever. I don't want to play ranked. I don't want to play public. I don't want to play anything but this all random ability draft, random ability draft. It's fucking fun. Because there's a lot of skill involved in the draft part. The draft part takes like a couple of minutes. You get assigned a random person, then everyone's skills that you would normally have with that random character are put onto the screen, and you can choose anyone's abilities. Plus, they throw in 2 additional characters that aren't being played. They throw their skills into the mix, and you go turn by turn. So like player 1 gets to choose first, all the way down to player 10. And then they reverse it. Player 10 gets to choose first, all the way down to player 1. So player 1 gets the best. They can choose 1 ultimate and 3 regular skills. So they can choose either any regular skill or any ultimate at the first. They're going to get the best item in the game probably. Now, something that factors into it is whether you're anyway. Why am I talking about Dota? I'm so addicted to it and excited about this random draft ability mode. Fuck it, we're not talking about that. I'll talk about Dota in its own podcast sometime. I'm a fanboy right now. Wow, back on track, Mike. Anyway, so Dota does it right. This is what I'm saying. Dota does everything right, in my opinion, and that's another reason I love the game. I'm not annoyed by the fact that somebody has a character that's decked out in unique looking stuff, or they have a cool looking weapon, or whatever, because they don't do more damage, they don't do different things, they just look different. They might like act different, or you can get new announcer voices, whatever. All that stuff, it's all good. Everything that they've done is all good in my opinion. Yes, they've had some server problems. Yes, they've had some problems with updates where after an update sometimes it goes down for like 8 hours or 2 hours, whatever. That stuff's gonna happen, but they do everything really right for the size of the game. It's just incredible. Holy snowdrifts on the road, Batman. Anyway, so Dota does it right. Congratulations. What game does it wrong? I'm racking my brain. There's a game coming out. Oh, yeah, I know what it is. This really pissed me off, okay? So the rumors are, and they may change this if there's a public outcry or whatever, because the game companies these days they start to listen to the customer, and that's a fucking good thing they do. Yeah, I talked about SimCity, and EA with SimCity, they did it wrong. They did everything wrong, and then they did everything late. But eventually, to make people want to play, which is too late. I haven't even played it since they made the changes that people wanted in the first place. And they lied about saying they couldn't do it when really they could. They did everything wrong and everything like that. So this has the potential to change, especially because the game I'm going to talk about is in closed beta. Now, if you have a closed beta key, and you are a closed beta tester, you're not allowed to talk about the fact that you have a key. You're not allowed to talk about the fact that you're testing the game when it's available to be tested in closed beta. You're not allowed to talk about your thoughts about it at all in any forum. So I'm not going to say whether or not I have a key. I'm not going to say whether or not I have an opinion on that game. But what I've read, this has nothing to do with any sort of testing, but what I've read online, the rumors are, and I believe that there's some proof that these guys have said that this is going to happen. It's Elder Scrolls Online. Now, let me tell you my opinion about Elder Scrolls Online solely based on what I feel, based on just the fact that there's going to be an Elder Scrolls Online, based on the fact that the YouTube videos I've seen from the developers over the last year and a bit, since they've been releasing the videos about the game. I'm super pumped because Skyrim's my favorite game ever. And whenever I'm playing Skyrim, the one thing I always wish was that I could bring just one person. If I could just bring one other live, real friend in the game with me to do the quests that I'm doing, to be in the game, playing just fucking Skyrim. I just want Skyrim multiplayer. That's all I want, right? That's what they... And in a lot of ways, to be honest, like I'll get some flack for this, but really, it was pitched that way in the first place. The first time I ever read something from a developer in an interview, they said it was going to be like Skyrim, but with multiplayer, okay? And I don't know that it's going to turn out that way, and I don't know how I know that, but I don't think it's going to be like that. Because I've also read lately, developers are now saying, no, it's not Skyrim with multiplayer, so stop expecting that. It's more like, kind of like Oblivion, the game, like Elder Scrolls Oblivion, mixed with, like, in my opinion, maybe like Guild Wars 2 from the video footage I've seen. I didn't even play Guild Wars 2. I loved Guild Wars 1. I played the shit out of that. But there was something I played when it was open beta for free, Guild Wars 2, and it just didn't hook me. It just didn't have the same appeal for some reason. I really loved the PvP in Guild Wars 1 and the Guild Hall and like those tournament sort of style things where you get into this, you fucking, it was impossible to find a group. But when you finally did, and you could find maybe a group that I didn't used to use TeamSpeak, and I hated doing that, like gaming with microphone. I love it now. I love games with microphones now. But back then I didn't like it, so they always want you to speak on TeamSpeak. I'm like, I don't want to, so they kick you out of the group. Anyway, I'm rambling again. Guild Wars 1, loved it. Guild Wars 2, didn't like it as much, so I didn't play it. So I didn't really like Guild Wars 2, and Oblivion was great. I played every Elder Scrolls game, but it's outdated, and that's where Skyrim was fucking amazing, right? So now from the stills I've seen, from the gameplay, not gameplay footage, but developer footage that I've seen, Elder Scrolls Online, I don't think is going to live up to the hype. It's not going to live up to my expectations or a lot of people's expectations, because originally it really was pitched as Skyrim with multiplayer, and that's what I wanted. That's what everyone wanted, and we were so pumped for this. And now it's totally apparently not Skyrim with multiplayer, and that's too bad. To me, they're pissing on Skyrim in a way, or they're pissing on their own franchise. I think it's going to flop. I'm going to call it now. I think it'll do well initially because of the popularity of Skyrim. They're going to play off of the popularity of Elder Scrolls in general because it's been such a long-standing franchise. But unfortunately, I think they're going to take a mighty shit on the franchise. Whoops! My phone just got launched over there because I took off my scarf, and my scarf got attached to the earphones. Why am I wearing earphones? That's hilarious. I don't need to wear earphones. I'm taking them out. Maybe I was yelling too much. Oh, now my voice sounds really loud. Weird. Anyway, I was listening to music earlier before I started the podcast. That's funny. I had them in the whole time. Listening to nothing. So I just sort of had muted ears. Like I said, my voice sounds really loud and weird now. No, don't you turn in front of me, you motherfucker. That's right. It's shitty conditions. Don't be an asshole. If you have to have blah, blah, blah. If you ever have to drive in snow, take your time. Drive safe. Drive smart. Don't pull off, like, last-minute maneuvers and shit. It's so stupid. Like, people die all the time because they're driving in the snow and they do stupid shit. Please, take your time. Don't rush. If you're going to be late, fuck it. You're going to arrive alive, and that matters more. Anyway, so Elder Scrolls Online, I'm already giving you my opinion of it in that, again, I didn't necessarily play it, but, that's my feel. I don't have a good feeling about it right now. And here's one of the major reasons why. And what I read from a developer, from the company, someone mentioned somewhere that it's going to be a paid subscription model per month. What? Fuck you, bitch. Instantly, I'm not playing the game. I'm fucking sorry. Now, again, Skyrim, my favorite game ever. PC or otherwise. Number one favorite computer video game. Like, number one favorite video game of all time. And I've been playing games since I was a little kid. And I'm 33 now. There's some older games that come close just because of what they were at the time. And I'm sure Skyrim will be replaced by a favorite later. Maybe. But Elder Scrolls Online, the only way I would have paid for it is if it would have just been like Skyrim with multiplayer. Now what they failed to realize is it didn't have, for me, this is for me now, it didn't have to be massively multiplayer. Okay? It doesn't have to be Guild Wars. It didn't have to be World of Warcraft. It didn't have to be any of those games. It only had to be me and a friend, or me and 3 friends, or me and 2 friends, whatever. That's it. Fucking just, if I could spend 300 hours playing Skyrim with a friend in the game, fucking wow. So hopefully modders will continue, because I know there were some early mods. I haven't looked at Skyrim mods in like a year. I used to follow them really closely. There's some fucking amazing stuff that people are making, and thanks Steam for, there was a modding community website, I can't remember what it's called now, before Steam really got into the Skyrim mods. But also thank Steam and that website for having all those mods all those years and hosting them and all that. But what was I getting at? But yeah, I would have paid per month Probably maximum $5 per month to play, because that's going way out of what I'm agreed to. That's the only game I would have ever paid a subscription fee to. Would have been Skyrim multiplayer, essentially. Whether it's like one other person or two or 100 other people, whatever, I don't know. Here's why they didn't make it. Maybe we can get into that in another podcast as well. I'm not going to get into that. I'm talking about pay models, whatever. I'm pissed off. It's a really sore subject for me. Regardless, I can always keep playing Skyrim and all the mods that come out. Like right now, I'm just playing it vanilla. I may add the Sky mod or something like that. There's that Sky mod UI or something like that makes the UI look better and the inventory system easier to use. I remember using that before. I think I may add that to the one I'm streaming with right now and make that my only mod. I like playing games vanilla the way it was meant to be played, and I'm just going to continue doing that. But I may add that other than the inventory system. It's fine the way it is. It's a little cumbersome though, so that Sky UI is great. Anyway, back to the pay models. Elder Scrolls Online. So what I heard, the rumor was like $10 to $15 per month. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, but I cannot pay you, $150 a year to. And then initially the game is supposed to cost a lot of money. That's the other thing. It's like it's going to be like a $70 game plus $10 a month. Suck it. Sorry, friends. I know you worked hard in the game. I know there's probably a unique soundtrack, maybe like symphony thing again. From what I've seen, that game is not worth that amount of money. You're not getting $150 plus, so you're not getting $250 from me in the first year to play this game. I don't give a shit. Not for a game that looks like what I've seen. Sorry. I know it's in beta, but I don't really like just some of the mechanics and the way that they've got it laid out. I don't know. Just it didn't look like it's a step. It's a few steps backwards from Skyrim. Here's the thing that when they turn a regular game or a movie into an MMO, a massively multiplayer online game, it loses something a lot of times for me. I guess I have trouble with MMOs in general. I guess I do, because there's something cheesy about getting into a game and there being 100 people standing there all looking the same. That just doesn't do it for me. Or, 100 people standing there with all the best gear and they all look the same. Again, maybe it's that looks thing. Or, I don't know. There's something about it that just doesn't have the same appeal. Maybe I'll get into that. Because with Guild Wars 1, I couldn't even complete all the damn quests. They kept adding to it, and it was huge, this huge lore and world. They did a great job. I'm sure Guild Wars 2 is similar. I just didn't like it as much, at least during the beta. I don't know. But anyway, regardless, I'm not a fan of the pay model, the subscription model per month. I think if you want to take the Dota way and you can add yourself in some customization. It actually, again, to me, that would make an MMO more appealing, because not everyone's going to have the same stuff, different animations and voices and outfits. Just make a ton of outfits. Some games, they actually use the Steam community and they take those items if they like them, and if they get upvoted enough, and they buy them from the the person who made it, and the developers do, and incorporate it into the game. That's brilliant as well. But MMOs in general, I don't know, they just don't appeal to me, and I definitely wouldn't pay money per month for an MMO or for any game. That voice crack, that asthma voice crack, it does it for me every time. That's my 5th puberty, everybody. 5th puberty. Windy as shit today. And the snow's gone, and the sky is only partly cloudy now. Amazing. So, anyway, those are the two extremes for me. I tried playing World of Warcraft. There was like a free trial or whatever at one point. And my other thing is I have a hard time with games that look too cartoony. I know with younger people that seems to not be a problem as much. It seems like I prefer Dota over League of Legends because I think League of Legends looks too cartoony. I know the Dota is like all bright colors and animation, but really League of Legends is even more bright and cartoony than Dota. And I find it cheesy. Like World of Warcraft, I find cheesy looking. I don't like that. I'm a really big sci-fi fantasy fan. Not a nerd or anything, but I really like fiction and futurism and creativeness. Like Guild Wars was really cool. Just a bunch of like really neat things. It was really, again, it was more realistic than cheesy or cartoony looking, if you know what I mean. It's hard to explain, but it's a really big problem for me. If a game is too cartoony, I can't get into it. I like Battlefield because it's got a layer of realism that I like. Same with Skyrim's got a real layer of realism. Dota, not realistic so much, but to me it just feels more realistic than League of Legends. Anyway, getting off track again. Back to the Dota's model, in my opinion, is the best of balancing, the best of both worlds, or the best of good and evil, in my opinion, of pay models for games and ongoing models. Another sinner, I guess you could say, of pay models for me was Diablo 3. Another game that fucked up a franchise, in my opinion. I played Diablo since the first one. I played it religiously. Diablo 2 was my game that I played for like years. I was addicted to it. I loved it. I didn't play anything else but that for a long time. I took breaks from it and came back and played it for another year. I went back again years later and played it for a while. I could go back right now and play Diablo 2 and still have fun as long as they could get rid of the hackers. Blizzard has a real problem with managing, it's usually chat bots, script bots, and stuff like that. Big problem for Blizzard. They can never seem to get a handle on it. So what they did in response to, so in Diablo 2, there were people selling items offline, cheats or hacks, plus offline auction houses where you could buy items. I think, no, I never did use that. What I did, I was just trying to remember, I bought a key one time, completely legal, but it was just like one of these key reselling businesses. It was completely unique, like you could get on Battle.net, like it was completely legit key and everything, and it had, like, you register for it and all that, and you can verify that it's real. And that's what I was thinking about. But anyway, Blizzard, I was so angry at Diablo 3 because, again, if you're a hardcore gamer or a true gamer, you've been a gamer for a long time, there's certain games that you love and that really are close to your heart and that were part of your life. And I know that sounds like an addiction. And again, I'd love to cover game addiction. And I think I will if I can remember to do that. Because it is an addiction. We don't really talk about that enough in society, and I'm pretty sure I'm a game addict. So, fuck, Blizzard just, Diablo 3, it didn't have the same replayability or appeal or close to heartness that Diablo 2 had. It was missing, like, levels weren't random or random enough. Like, it was, I think they're the same layout every time or something like that. I haven't played Diablo 3 in a long time now, so I can't even remember exactly what I hated about it, but it was like, it did not have good replay value for me. The other thing about Diablo 3, which they've totally fucked up, and have since revoked, I believe, is the auction house. The pay auction house. Pay for auction house. Real money auction house is what I mean. In-game gold auction house, not a big deal as much. It's a neat side part of the game in a way, it still gives people an unfair advantage. So here's a situation where this totally relates to what we're talking about, because it's in-game currency being used. So if you earn like 1,000 gold in the game, you can translate that into a better item for your character, or new spells or whatever. I can't remember exactly, but like different items and spells and weapons and armor and whatever. Which is kind of neat. It's something that I think games thought, I know I thought about that years and years ago when I was playing games. Like, it'd be cool if I could take this money that I earn in the game and actually use it for something, either in the real world or, in the game to make it better. Like at the end, if you're just sitting there with like piles of money, you're like, what good is that? So they address that, so that's fine. But then they have a real money auction house, and I think they closed it down because of the outcry, because of the way that it just fucked up the game, the way that it just ruined the game. And people warned them, they're like, don't do this, do not do this. It will fuck the game up. People pushed for it. Blizzard thought it was a good idea because why? Greed. They get a cut of that fucking money per transaction or per whatever. Blizzard would get a cut of that money. So they were happy to do it, and people did use it for big money transactions. People were paying real fucking huge cash, and I mean $1,000 for an item in Diablo 3. You're nuts. You're fucking crazy if you pay, I'm sorry, but if you pay 1,000 real world dollars for a sword in a fucking game, what? If you play Second Life, a game that uses like its own currency, but you can inject your own like real world currency, convert it into in-game currency, and then so you spend like literally like $20,000 on a piece of land in a virtual game. Oh, I'm sorry, but that's fucking crazy. I know that maybe that's somebody's life. Like, let's say that you don't, I'm not saying you don't have a life, but let's say that's what's keeping you happy in your life. You don't have a family, or you're depressed or sad or whatever, and your whole life is in that game. Like, I'm talking about Second Life here, and maybe you've met your spouse, or you're dating someone through that game, and you're independently wealthy, or you even if you're just like on assistance or whatever, and you don't have anything else to spend your money on, you save up, and you spend this $20,000 on a piece of land in a virtual game. Fuck! I mean, I'm saying these big amounts of money because if you pay like $10 in-game to get like something that's insignificant or that you think is cool, or it'll add to your enjoyment of the game, or even, let's say over a year you spend $50 to $100 on it because you have a budget for that or whatever, it was a gift or whatever. All right, like it's a part of your entertainment. It's like you don't go to the movies, so you do this, or it's a mix of both, or you don't go out on the town, so you do this, or you don't eat out food, so you just spend it on this, whatever, fine. Like, I'm not really trying to judge people, but if you spend a fucking $1,000 per, like, on one item, or 20 grand or 100 grand on some land or whatever in a game, come on. Unless, here's the only caveat to that. The only fucking reason why that'll work is if you can resell it tomorrow for like more than you paid, and you know that you can, and it's a sure fucking thing that next week you're gonna sell that plot of land that was $20,000 for $22,000, then you're playing the stock market in a way. So that's fine. But anyway, I'm off on a tangent here again. I do tend to rant. So, Diablo 3 with the real money auction house, greedy on Blizzard, and totally fucked up the game balance. It ruins the fucking game when you have, please don't pull out in front of me, Snowplow. Thank you for being smart. Fuck. Because then you get people who sit there and they create bots to farm for them. They create like 5 character bots. They get 5 accounts. They so they have to purchase the game 5 times or whatever. They set them up on 5 computers. They make, like, they know how to program. They make scripts that run. that make their characters farm for items or farm gold or whatever. Like, people do this all the time. This is very real. In China, the government employs people to do this, and I'm not even kidding, to make money. I'm not even joking about that. So they do that. Then they sell the items for real money. So that's just fucking stupid, because then you get playing with bots and it ruins the gameplay experience. Plus, then people start dominating, those bots start dominating the auction houses and all this shit. And then, I need to drink water. I'm just getting on the highway here, so I'm just going to concentrate. I'm on the on-ramp here, have a little drink. My voice is starting to get a little tired. I've been talking this whole entire time. It's going to be a long one. So, just let me get on the highway. Well, I should say a major highway. I was on a minor highway for my drive. Just gonna come on out here, spray some windshield washer fluid on my window. Wipers don't work really well at high speed, so that's always great. Get that little patch right in front of my eyes that doesn't get... oh, there we go. Nice, nice. Blah, 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 Diablo. So yeah, real world auction house or real money auction house totally messed up the game. And again, any game... So the other problem is, even if someone's going to pay $20 for an item in the game, Diablo 3... It's fine if you're playing co-op mode, where you're playing co-op mode, you have a guy with like some pretty good items. It's not a huge deal, because it helps you to level up and whatever. If you just want to play with someone with like really good items or high level for a while, that's fine. Can take the enjoyment of the game. But the real problem lies in PvP. Now, Diablo has always had PvP, and that's, for some people, they love to do PvP. Once you get bored with the storyline or whatever, you want to play a game where you're like fighting other people. You kind of meet them out in the field and you battle, and you can... I can't remember whether you can steal their stuff or their gold or whatever, but I know you can, depending on the mode you're playing in, you can lose gold and experience and items maybe. I can't really remember. I didn't do PvP in Diablo 3, so I don't remember how it works there. But then it becomes a real problem, because you're playing against people who have bought with their own money for real items and stuff that gives them an unfair advantage when you're playing PvP against other people, and that's just some bullshit. Or people who have used bots to farm. Get the fuck... Seriously, when people are getting off the highway and they don't get off the highway, like I'm in the lane and they're getting off the highway, there's a special lane for them, but two of their tires are still in my lane, and I'm like passing them because they're slowing down. They're still in my fucking lane, and I gotta swerve around them or slam on my brakes. Fuck you! Anyway, so yeah, Diablo 3 really fucked that up, and in the end, as far as I remember, they were repealing it. I'm not sure if they took it away for forever and we're gonna work on it to try to make it balance better, or to figure out a way so it didn't fuck everything up, or if they were getting rid of it for real. But I remember they got rid of it, and everyone was like, finally, but too little too late. Plus the game, it didn't have, especially for me, it did not have the same appeal that Diablo 2 did. And I don't know whether it's not we were just bored, like it wasn't different enough from Diablo 2 to wow us, or it just had too many, I know it had too many bugs and problems right off the bat. And it's so many server problems. Diablo 3 was probably the second worst game launch in history after SimCity 5. Absolute fucking worst. I remember it. Like, I paid a lot of money for Diablo 3 because I loved Diablo 1 and 2. Again, games that were close to my heart, part of a franchise that I loved, and they just fucked it up. They just shit all over it. People were screaming at them, like, don't do this and this and this. You're gonna fuck the game up. Please do. You say you're gonna do this when you release the game. Don't do it. We won't play it. Don't do it. And they do it anyway because they're greedy. For a lot of things are about greed. No, we're gonna make more money doing this, and that's the fucking real reason. This lane ends. I shouldn't get in it. But yeah, they totally fucked up the game. And anyway, the pay model they went with, totally stupid. No subscription per month, good. High price to buy it, fine, because it's such an in-depth game. Again, they have custom like orchestral music, and like they put a lot of voice acting and time into the game. I haven't even mentioned programmers and game testers. That's another thing. I did some research on them recently, actually, looking to see if that's something I'd want to do, and I don't think it is. I know somebody that game tests, and I haven't talked to them about it, but I did, kind of look. They said they were hiring where that person works, and I was like, oh, maybe I want to do that, and I kind of looked into it, and apparently it's like, I don't know. I'll do a whole podcast on it if I can remember that. Maybe I'll go through these and keep notes about what I want to do podcasts on. But it's pretty shitty life, and they don't work. They're third party usually. They don't work directly for the company. You get treated like shit. Anyway, programmers, fucking graphic designers, everything, fucking directors and producers, and there's so much that goes into a game. So higher price for Diablo 3, fine. I was willing to pay it because it's, again, a franchise I loved. Was really excited about what they said it was going to be like, and this and that and the other thing, and just excited to play an updated version of Diablo 2, fine. But unfortunately, they fucked it up. So there's another bad example or a good example of a bad pricing structure for me. This is all my opinion, of course. If you love the way that the in-house game, like, please comment below. A lot of these are just me ranting and rambling about different topics, so I really, really would love to see your comments below. And I say below because I'm assuming now that I'm going to put this on YouTube. I just figured that out during this podcast. But just, put some comments below and let me know your opinion about anything that I've said. I'm almost home now, about 5 minutes away, so I should wrap it up. But those are some of the different models I like and don't like. I'm really pissed off that apparently Elder Scrolls Online is going to be pay per month, because even if it wasn't Skyrim, if it was free to play, obviously I'd play it. But if it was like, $10 to $30 up front and no more money after that, except for maybe some customization, which I wouldn't participate in probably, then maybe I'd be okay with it. But I'm not paying per month. That's a bunch of shit. The way that the game looks and feels, according to what I've read and seen. Anyway, that's pretty much what I had to say on that topic. I hope the game developers really start looking at the Dota model. That's what I'm going to call it, because I really feel that that's the best model for pricing for me, and one that jives with a lot of people. The game's relatively inexpensive for the amount of replayability. And the funny part about Dota is the game doesn't really change that much. It's the same fucking game. You're in the same lanes on the same map always. It's not weird and different every time. It all depends on the player. It depends on the character you choose. If you choose your character and it's vanilla, so to speak, or whether you're playing random character given to you, or you're playing ranked, or you're playing the random ability draft with a random character, or whatever, the game changes every time because of that. So, there's all these possibilities. The game is just amazing. It's just the right balance where you pay the money up front, which is worth it, million replay hours, and you can customize characters, but also you do still get those customization abilities with random winning, and you have to play the game to completion to win. Gives you incentive not to leave the game in the middle, and there's other penalties for leaving. The game is brilliant in every aspect of multiplayer, in my opinion. Awesome. So that's my opinion on that matter. Thanks very much for listening to the Very Supreme Broadcast of Honor podcast, Drivecast with Mike, and I hope that you'll tune in again. I've been having fun. Again, I wasn't sure whether I keep doing these, but I did the first two in 2 days. This is like a week later. I'm doing this one because I just kind of took a break. I'm probably going to build up a bunch before I release them. And just so I have a steady flow of them, like a backlog in case I can't record for a while for whatever reason. So yeah, anyway, thanks for listening. Please, if you have a theme song submission you'd like to submit, please do so at TVSBOH@gmail.com. Just indicate somehow that it's for this podcast in the subject line. So when I'm looking at the subject line, I'll know that's what it is, and just include it in the email. You can include something about yourself if you want, your username, that, so on. I'll put it in, if it's on YouTube, I'll put it in the description of the video. If it's somewhere else, I'll make sure to include it in the info if I use your theme song. Please check out the Very Supreme Broadcast of Honor. Our main thing that we do is YouTube. It's one video every day. It's usually gaming related with a comedy or music twist, or just straight gaming, but it's usually we aim for the comedy. It's youtube.com/TVSBOH, or you can go for our Twitter to find out all sorts of information. I'm on there every day talking to people. Twitter.com/TVSBOH. Facebook.com/TVSBOH. Or catch us live at twitch.tv/TVSBOH. Beautiful. Lovely. See us in all those places. Follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thanks very much. This has been the Drivecast, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye, guys. See ya. Bye. Burritos. The podcast is over, and I was glad that you were here. If you ever need a pick-me-up, just send us a tweet or watch our videos or live stream, or just sing this song. I like burritos, I like burritos, I like burritos, man. I like burritos, I like burritos. That's the end of the podcast now. Hey there, buddy. You just watched a video from the Very Supreme Broadcast of Honor. Hope you really had a good time, and if you want to continue that good time, you just click on that next video, or maybe one of the other two. Click subscribe for more fun every day. Fun that you probably won't have anywhere else. Trust me.